Hi, and welcome. This is our
Hello.
last reading section before the new Torah weekly portion. So we're going to do a couple of Mishnayot from Pirkei Avot. How you guys been this week? Let me throw up your names real quick, just so we can know who you are before we get started. What's up?
Howdy.
How you guys doing?
I'm well.
Everybody's really quiet today.
I'm good. Just woke up.
Oh.
Men need their naps.
There is some wind coming through the microphone, though. Don't know where that's coming from. You said you had a nap?
Old men need their naps. I just woke up.
You know, I slept a lot today too. I got off work at midnight last night, got home around 3 a.m. because our local AM/PM was closed, and I went walking to the middle of Tel Aviv to come back. That's annoying. And then I slept today. I made up for all of my sleep. I don't know. I slept so much. Yep. Anyway, what about you, Jonathan?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You got a new life ahead of you. I'm excited for you.
New life.
Yes. New life, new direction to
Well,
be
in
like.
some ways, I have no direction.
Yes.
But-
Oh, in some ways you have no direction.
Right.
Well, welcome to my world.
I am direction itself. So
You are direction.
You are direction.
Indeed. Well, we are going to read two verses, two Mishnayot. Today is the 6th of October. Tomorrow marks 2 years since the beginning of this war that we are undergoing. And hopefully there are so many news reports right now that are trying to give us hope for the end of this war. And so I hope that the next week we'll see the return of all hostages who remain alive, as well as the bodies of those who are not, and a cessation of aggressions on both sides. I really hope. I'm so tired of war. I can't believe that in 2025 we still have war and that we still have to live through this. But I do hope that this week will bring an end to this and a new reality for the Middle East, hopefully. I have hope, but I'm scared with everything that's happening in America. But anyway, let's keep our fingers crossed and hope for good things. These are our wonderful Patreon members. You guys are mostly there with me. I want to say special thanks to Michael Burke, who has stood by me for a long time, and Yedidei Nefesh category, holding it up there, and I really appreciate that. And I hope that you can jump on and be with us a few times too, because you were here once, but it's not enough. As far as news, next week at this time, 5 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be doing our first hour for the first time with Parashat HaShavua. I have published on my server the reading schedule for the parashiot. Let me get that link for you. I believe, let's see, it's the Hebrew Cafe. I'll just put this over there so you can see. I'm not going to go through. May as well. There's a link for anyone who is on Patreon. I had a couple notifications, just received them. I was on here a few minutes ago and didn't have them, so I'll respond as soon as I can. Let's come on. Wow, Patreon always so slow. Let's just go directly. The hebrewcafe.com/upload/pdf/parashiot. Okay. So these are the readings for the next year. The date is on the left. That's when we're going to be meeting. The parasha is actually assigned for the following Shabbat. So I think on the 13th, the Shabbat that will be read is like the 18th or something like that. This is the name of the parasha. It's Bereshit, Noach, Lech Lecha, Vayera, and so on. This is the full parasha, the full section in the Torah itself. I would suggest that everyone read the full parasha, at least in English, and then we will read through one aliyah from the passage together. We'll go as far as we get, and then we'll stop whenever we run out of time. Hopefully, we can generally finish the whole aliyah. So I've made up the reading schedule for the entire year until September 14th of next year. So this October 13th, we're going to be doing the fourth reading from Bereshit. It's the fourth Aliyah. It's Genesis 3:2 to 4:18. So if you want to practice reading that in Hebrew, that's what we're going to be reading together. And then every week I've got the verses that we'll be reading together. Again, to finish the entire Torah in the year, I would at least suggest that you read it in English to get the context and then focus the Hebrew on the passage that we're going to be sharing in our session. And this is available on Patreon on the recent link. So the second hour, we're going to continue with Biblical Hebrew Composition with Weingreen's book, which we are in reading number 3 today, text number 3. And then at 7 o'clock, we're going to continue with our modern Hebrew, Ivrit Min HaTchala, Hebrew from scratch.
The parsha readings.
Mhm.
What is your? How you think? How thoroughly should we? How thoroughly should we prepare for it? Is it meant to be kind of, read it, just kind of wing it, or to prepare for it? What do you?
I would prepare. I mean, if it's not something you do all the time, if reading Hebrew is not something that you do all the time, then it will take more time to wade through it, to understand, the context, the grammar, and all of that. I would suggest that you try to read it to the point that it's comfortable to you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because the goal is to keep practicing reading and to make reading aloud something that you can do comfortably. Some people that will require reading through it one time. Some people require, maybe they'll print it out and they'll write notes on the side of the paper and translate and whatever. It really depends on where you're at and whatever level of investment you're willing to put into it. Or yigi'ah, as we're going to have, exertion, the level of exertion you're willing to make, and what you feel that you need to. Because we're going to read together, but if you don't feel like whatever you can benefit you, I think that's the idea. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. So we are in Pirkei Avot chapter 2. We read through all of chapter 1. We're only going to do today 2 Mishnayot from this chapter. The first one looks like this. That's the whole Mishnah. Notice that the Mishnayot in this chapter are much longer than the Mishnayot in the first chapter. So what I did here is I put the whole thing on screen, and then we will focus in on a few lines that we'll read individually, and we'll break it up this way. And we'll probably try to look at some meaning, because there are some things here that have touches that are kind of relevant for things that we've recently, the recent calendar issues in the Jewish calendar. Anyway, so the first one, I guess I'll start. The Rabbi. Rabbi is a short form of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. He was the one who wrote the Mishnah. He is one of the descendants of Hillel, and he during his time they realized that the Mishnah might be lost if it's not written down, because the tradition was weakening. So they wrote the tradition down, even though until now it was called Torah shebe'al peh. Is the Torah that's by mouth, the oral Torah, and that you're not supposed to write it down. It's supposed to be passed on from rabbi to disciple. But they decided to write it down so that it wouldn't be lost. So this is him. This is Yehuda Hanasi. And he says, Ezo hi derech yishara sheyavor lo ha'adam kol shehi tiferet le'oseha v'tiferet lo min ha'adam. So, Ezo hi derech, this is asking a question. What is, or which is, an upright way, derech yishara, a straight way or an upright way, sheyavor lo ha'adam, which a man might choose for himself. I do want to talk about that word yavor, because that's a bit different from what we're used to. We went over at the end of Weingreen's grammar, we went over geminate noun, or geminate nouns in the beginning, geminate verbs in the end. So yavor is a geminate. Geminate meaning like Gemini, it has its twins. It has 2 letters that are the same. So these are called what are they called? Pei lamed lamed?
Pei lamed lamed.
Pei lamed lamed verbs. That is where the second and third radical are the same. Instead of pa'al, it's written pe lamed lamed. And so the root here is barar. Barar means he chose. Another form of this is just bar. Bar can also mean he chose. So let's look at Pe'alim. Pe'alim is a website that has Hebrew verbs. Let's pull it over here and look at this. Pe'alim. Okay, pe'alim.com. If you look up here, barar, actually, let's just look up the word yavor, because that way you can see that you can actually find it by looking up yavor. Okay, and it will tell you that yavor comes from the verb lavor, which is from the root bet resh resh. It's a geminate root. So we go to lavor. Okay. First of all, if we look at the infinitive at the bottom, we see there are two options. Lavor. I don't know if you can see the text here, but this is lavor, and then livror. Livror is the long form. It's barar. Livror and lavor mean the same thing. They both mean to choose. Okay, so if we look at the past tense, or the present, how about that? Borer, boreret, borerim, borerot, makes sense. Bararti, we say today in Hebrew, we can say bararti and bararnu, but an older form is with the vav infix, baroti and baronu. Okay, so it's just like the geminate that we learned at the end of wine green. Okay, so if you want to look through the forms, you are welcome to, but just be aware that that with these, like barar, you have an alternative form, bar, if you can see that, and barera, you can see that there's an alternative form. If we can see it, it won't show us. Yes, bara and bareru, baru. All these mean they chose. This root is most famous for the word bareran, which means someone who is choosy. Right here, bareran. This is an adjective, choosy or fastidious. It also is what's another word for choosy? Finicky, choosy. So this is yavor, means he will choose. What is this? What is a straight way that the man Hadam would choose for himself? Kol shehi tiferet le'osea, any way that is glory for the one who does it. V'tiferet lo min ha'adam, and glory for him from other people. In other words, he would choose to do the thing, the right thing. He would choose it if, number one, people would respect him for doing it. They would say, wow, it's great that he does that. He's doing the right thing. And the second thing, the thing itself makes him feel good. It itself contains tiferet. It feels good to do it. It feels good and people praise him for it. That's how I read it anyway. What does the translation say? Whatever is honorable to the one who chooses it and honorable in the eyes of others. That's how the book that we're using chooses to translate it. Okay, any comments or questions from you guys about this? What is it? Ezohi derech hashara. Ezohi. This is not biblical Hebrew, right?
No. Azo
So-
is that what the zo is zeh, right?
Yes, zo is zot, this. And a is used in the Bible, especially with afo, where. So afo means this a particle with here, and azo is this a particle with zo, zot. So in the masculine, it's eze, feminine is azo, and the plural is ilu. Ilu. This means which. So you say ezo derech, which way? Eze adam, which person? Ezo. Ilu sfarim, which books? Ilu sfarim. This started in the Mishnah period and is used exclusively in modern Hebrew to say which. So ezo he derech yeshara, which is a way straight. Which is a straight way? Which is a straight way that a man should choose for himself? Okay, that's how that works. In the Bible, we do have this used in the book of Jonah in a weird way. When they say, "What people do you come from?" They say, "E mise am tavo." "E mise am tavo." "E," that particle. "Mise," from this. "Am," people. And tavo, would you come? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Any other questions, sorry, before we move on? Do you see the expression in the third line? It says, Kol shehi tiferet lo'osea. Kol shehi. In modern Hebrew, that's rammed together as kol shehi on kol shehu, which means any. Any. It's all run together. All that it. All that it. It means any way that is blah, blah, blah. It's run together. So it's like ma shehu is something, and kol shehu is anything in modern Hebrew. All right. Who wants to take the second section of this Mishnah?
I'll do it.
All righty, great.
Veheve zahir b'mitzvah kala kivachamura. Where's the accent on that?
On the
Kivachamura.
end. Kivachamura.
Kivachamura. Sha'ayin ata yodea matan shecharan shel mitzvot.
Just that this one is a sin. Scharan.
Shecharan. That's
Yeah,
a reward, isn't it?
It is. Sachal is reward or wage.
All
Yeah.
right, cool.
Okay. Veheve zahir is a periphrastic for he zahir. He zahir.
All right, so let one be careful.
Yeah, be
Zahir is
careful.
cautious, casual, prudent.
Yeah, and veheve is a command. Be careful.
Okay. Be careful with a mitzvah. So, kala. Kala. Oh, a light one.
A
With
light commandment. Mm-hmm.
Okay, with a light commandment. Okay, with a light commandment. Bechamora. Yeah, like chamora must be heavy.
Yeah.
Right. Like than a heavy one, or because there you do not know. Matan. The reward. You do not know the reward.
Well,
No.
this is really giving. It's a giving of the wage, giving of the reward.
All right. You don't know. You do not know the giving of reward of the mitzvah, and mitzvahs of commandments. Sorry, and I guess it means do what seems like a small mitzvah as thoroughly and as diligently as a heavy mitzvah, because you don't know how serious what the reward is for each.
Yeah, so chamur is serious or grave. So there's a mitzvah kala, one that you think is, it's easy to do that one. That commandment's so easy and light and, whatever, frivolous. And then there's one that you think is really serious because it has the death penalty, right, in the Torah. And so you've got one that's a light offense and one that's a serious offense, or a light commandment and a serious commandment. And it says you should be careful in the performance of both of them, because you really don't know by looking at it. You don't know maybe what you think is a light or non-serious commandment. Maybe it really is something serious. And maybe what you see is really serious because it says a person will die. Maybe it's not as serious as this other one that you don't know really the reward of each commandment, You don't know really what it is. So take all of the commandments seriously, even if it's something you think is not a big deal, right? About this word chamur, and chamura, it's feminine because of mitzvah chamura, a serious commandment. To take something seriously, to become more observant, is leachmir, hechmir. So you have a choice whenever you observe a commandment. You can do it the easy way, or you can do it the really very careful and serious way. So those who do the commandments very, very in their particulars, we say that they machmirim. They make it more serious. They make it more grave, and all of the outcomes. You really have to be careful in how you do it. So lachmir is to do commandments in a more observant fashion, one that's very careful.
You know, I investigated this word just to try to find where it came from, and there was a root, morah. There was a word morah that's mem vav resh he, morah, which meant fear, terrible, dread. Do you think there's like some kind
that would be with aleph on the end, morah, from yareh. So morah shamayim, the fear of heaven. This has to be with the root chet mem resh, which feels like a donkey.
Yeah,
doesn't feel like a donkey.
Yes, right.
The masculine, it's chamor, and the feminine is aton.
All right.
But let's see about roots as far as halot is concerned, and look up chamor. See what's related to this root. To load or to heap, to make something more difficult. This is from Jewish Aramaic, biblical Hebrew, to drive an ass, a donkey. So it has to do with a donkey. Wow, Jonathan, that's really ugly. I hate it. I'm going to try to bring it back to the other one. You see how that font, look what it does. It's so ugly. Let's bring it back to something pretty. EB. So many fonts. EB Garamond, that's prettier. It's going to mess up the Aramaic, but at least the Hebrew is pretty, or the English is pretty. To load or to heap. What's that?
I'm sorry. Could you just humor me? Could you look up mem vav resh he?
Resh he?
Yes.
That's a teacher. Archers, yes, from Lehorot. Reigning, Moreh Malkosh, yes, Yoreh Malkosh. Moreh, master or teacher. Moreh, this is a place name. A shearing knife is a morah. Morah. Okay, so this one says that in one verse, Psalm 921, the word morah with aleph is misspelled with hey.
I see. Okay. I don't know where
Because
I got
morah
that.
with aleph means fear.
All right. Thank you.
That's this one. From Yara. And
Right.
it says that one time it's found with a hey. It's a misspelling, probably.
Oh, wait a minute. What's this? Awe before the Lord. See, number 3?
Yeah. Because
I
it's
see.
morah with aleph.
Yeah, but it's aleph. Yeah.
From Yare.
All right. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Of course. Okay, so basically, take the commandments seriously because you don't really know their reward, the reward for doing them, and also in this section, the reward for failing to do them. Who wants to read this verse, this section?
I do not.
Okay. So Colton, you want to take it? I think you're muted.
Sorry, I will. והווה מחשב הפסד, הפסד מצווה כנגד שכרה ושכר עבירה כנגד ההפסדה.
Okay, so you have two things here. You have sakar and hefsed. Hefsed is your loss. It's the loss when you don't do something. And the sakar is the benefit when you do it, the wage, the reward.
Okay. So be calculating, be considering, just be thinking about it. The loss of the loss of the commandment.
It means what you lose if you don't do the commandment.
Yeah. Like
Negative
against,
or
like
against.
in context with its benefit. And the benefit crosses.
Avera is a transgression because you pass over the law, you cross through it, you break it.
And its benefit, and the benefit of transgression according to its loss, according to what you lose.
Not according to, I think it's weighted against. You need to weigh the loss of a mitzvah against its benefit, like if you do it, and the benefit of a transgression against its loss. Like if you don't commit this transgression, what's it going to hurt? Or if you do commit this transgression, what's it going to hurt? What are you going to benefit from doing? It's kind of contradicting the last line, because the last line says you don't know how much each commandment is worth, and now it says you need to calculate the reward of doing it against the loss of not doing it, and so on.
Maybe that's so that you will know what it's worth.
Well, you can possibly sit down in your life and you say, look, if I continue to look at pornography, will this affect my relationship with my partner? Does it give me benefit? Maybe there's no damage, like in my case, maybe I don't experience, like whatever the avera is that you're doing, weigh it against, the benefit of not doing it. And you should come out on the side of not performing averot, right? Not that everything that people call avera is avera. Because people say a lot of things are like sin that are not necessarily sin.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's saying that don't just live your life in such a way that you don't pay attention to your actions. Your actions have consequences, and try to figure out a way to come to the best outcome. Right?
Yeah.
All right. I think that's good advice, whether you're religious or non-religious. Jonathan, you're the last one to read, so you
Okay.
want to
I'll do it, and I'll stop at mimcha. Okay. So histakel bishlosha devarim ve'en ata ba liyadei avera dama lemala mimcha. Okay. So reflect on three things, and you will not come into the hand of transgression. Know whatever is from you.
What's lemala?
What's above you?
Above you. I believe, let me see, I have a Hebrew New Testament here somewhere. Hebrew New Testament. I think Matthew, what is the Lord's Prayer? 5?
Are you doing Delitzsch? Is this what you're using?
This is the no, this is the
Israeli Bible Society.
Oh, okay.
Where did he have the Lord's Prayer?
I don't remember. I'm horrible with references. I'm sorry.
I think whenever he said, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, I think there's something in there that seems like that. Lidei something.
Sorry,
don't let us come into the hands of something.
Matthew 6, 9 through 13.
There it is.
There it is.
V'al tvi'enu lidei nisayon. Do not bring us into the hands of testing, of temptation. See that? V'al tvi'enu lidei nisayon. So this, like falling into the hands of transgression, has a tie over into that. The prayer of, I don't even know what you would call it if it's not the Lord's Prayer. But anyway, look at three things, or consider three things, and you will not fall into the hands of transgression. Know what is above you. Da ma lemala mimcha. Like I said before to you guys, that people wear this on a T-shirt in Israel. Da ma lemala mimcha. Know what is above you, meaning that you should remember, acknowledge that you are not the top. Right. This is why people wear kippah. By the way, kippah is to say that I am not the top. I am. It's humility. So these are the three things that he says. Look upon three things. Consider these three things and know what's above you. The first one, it says ayin ro'ah. Ayin ro'ah. An eye seeing, a seeing eye, an eye that sees. So in other words, people tend to behave better when they think people are watching them, when they think someone's watching them. So this is telling you that there is an eye that sees everything that you do. So behave as if someone's watching you. Ve'ozen shoma'at, and a hearing ear. Someone hears everything that you say. This is the idea. I'm not saying that this is true necessarily, that this is the idea. And all your deeds in the book are being written. So an eye that sees everything you do, an ear that hears everything you do, and everything you do is being written in the book. I mentioned last week that it was Yom Kippur, or Yom Kippur was on Thursday. And Yom Kippur in the Jewish calendar is the day of judgment. It's the day on which you are judged for your actions in the past year, which is why you lead up to that day called the days of awe. You lead up to it in slichot, prayers of forgiveness. You want to do your best to make atonement for everything you've done over the last year. And then during the Yom Kippur, the Day of Judgment, the Day of Atonement, the idea is that God reviews your actions for the last year, and He determines the judgment for your actions. So He writes in His book who will live and who will die, and how they will die over the next year. It's quite an interesting concept, and it seems like something that's late in biblical theology, but honestly, it exists all the way from the books of the Torah. I was telling Jonathan before we met online earlier that all the way back, if you look up the verb macha, this is the verb macha, which is to wipe out, to blot out. So you look it up, and you go to the book of Exodus. Exodus chapter 32 is the first instance of this that we find. Exodus. He says, "V'ata im tisa chatatam." This is Moses talking to God. If you would forgive their sin, ve'im lo, im tisa chatatam, he's begging him, please forgive their sin. That is the sin of the people. When Moses, I think this is when he'd gone up on the mountain and they worshipped the calf. And so he's saying, please forgive them. If you would only forgive them. Ve'im ayin, if not, if you won't forgive them, wipe me out, please, from the book which you've written. He's laying his own life down, saying, if you won't forgive them, if you are so offended that you can't forgive them for what they've done, then wipe me out from your book. So this is the first instance. Look at verse 33. Vayomer Adonai Moshe, mi asher chatali emechenu misifri. So God said to Moses, the one who has sinned against me, I will wipe him out of my book. So this idea that there was a book or books that God kept of the deeds of mankind and how they would be judged is something that appears far back in the text of the Bible. It also appears, it comes up again in Daniel chapter 7, where you have the 7 beasts that have been that come up out of the sea. And at the end, he says it sees one like a son of man who's brought before the Ancient of Days. It says that the judgment is set and the books were opened. So the books being opened are those books of the deeds of man's life. And it's seen all the way to the end of the Christian Bible, the end of the book of Revelation, chapter 20, where it says, I saw the dead raised and they were judged according to the deeds, right, that they had done. So it's a very, very old and thorough concept in the Bible that God writes what you do. So there's Ayin Ro'ah, Ozen Shoma'at, V'chol Ma'asecha B'Sefer Nichtavim. Very old concept. And the idea is to keep you in line, to keep you from sinning. All right, Mishnah 2. This is the second Mishnah in the chapter. And let's get into it because we are kind of running out of time. We are on a deadline. Mishnah number 2. John, do you mind reading that? John Leifer?
That's fine. Rabban Gamliel, Beno Shel Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, Omer.
So again, who is Yehuda Nasi?
He's Yehuda the Prince, Judah the Prince, who wrote.
Yeah, he's the one who's writing this book. He's the author. So Rabbi is his name. That's what everyone calls him. And he's called Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. He's the prince, the author of this book.
Okay.
So
Yafel.
Gamliel is his own son, right?
It's a good trick. Yafel Talmud Torah im derech eretz sheyigiat shenechem mishachachat
Mishakachat.
mishakachat. There it is. There it is. Mishakachat aon. So Rabbi Gamliel, his son of who is Rabbi Yehuda Nasi.
So Beno Shel means the son of. So Rabban Gamliel, the son of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, says.
So wait a minute. So Beno is not his son?
It is his son, but this is a double genitive. We do it in since the Mishnaic period, where you say Beno means his son, and then you tell of whom? Shel Rabbi Yehuda.
Okay.
So
His
it's the
son.
same as writing Ben Rabbi Yehuda Nasi.
Okay. Is that still done?
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful is the study of his Talmud Torah, the study of Torah. If the way of the world, the way of the world, Sheyegeka. Let's see, what is that? Hold on, up here. Oh, yes. I had product of labor. If the way of the world, which is the product of labor, both mishachachat. Where is that?
So the sheh means because or for.
Okay.
Beautiful is the study of Torah with derech eretz, which we can get to in a minute.
The work of the world.
Because yigyat shnehem, the labor involved in both of them, mishakachat avon.
Makes one forget sin.
Yeah, forget iniquity, guilt. Like it makes them stop thinking about doing bad things. So derech eretz normally, I would understand it as like how people are supposed to behave. Derech eretz is just how people are supposed to treat each other with respect. But in this case, it's referring specifically to the involvement in labor and work.
In occupation.
Occupation. So Torah study is beautiful when it is accompanied by occupation. That is, if you're just being lazy, a lot of people do it in Israel. A lot of the religious people in Israel want to live off of subsidies from the government and not find any gainful employment and just study the Torah. And they say that studying Torah protects the nation, therefore I don't need to work.
Yeah,
and what they do in recent generations is send their wives to work. They make their wives take care of the family and take care of the house and maintain some kind of minor income that supplements the money they get from the government from having a lot of children.
It's not just
It's a
in
very
recent,
strange way to live.
it's not just in recent generations. In the in the 1920s, this
Mhm.
woman, this Jewish first generation immigrant, wrote a
Mhm.
book called The Bread Eaters about how
Wow, because they're not the bread winners, they're the bread eaters. That's brilliant.
and it's basically about how their fathers work and study Torah, and the women have to go out and earn a living, do business and stuff like that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's scathing. I mean, it really is scathing.
It really should be a criticism of the modern state of Israel and what's happening here with the allowances that are made for people who just want to be religious.
Yeah, it's
Be
a bit-
religious if you like, but don't let your religion be a burden on society.
right.
Tax money has to give support to people who refuse to work. And
Right.
this is a terrible situation and a terrible problem in Israel. And it's only going to get worse because in every government in the world right now, it seems, there's a tendency toward traditionalism and toward religious mentality that is becoming dangerous, I think. It's driving us into a bad situation, and especially in Israel, where the right wing in the government is causing a lot of damage. The whole war issue is really drawn out by the fact that we have people who are not willing to compromise in
There
power.
are more Arabs in the Israeli army than there are Haredi Jews.
Yeah. They are doing what they can right now to force enlistment. They're trying to enforce it, and it's causing a lot of almost rebellion. There are a lot of demonstrations in Jerusalem of people who are refusing, the Haredim, who are refusing to allow their children to be enlisted in the army. They won't fight in the army. They won't go to work. They're leeches on society. And
If only they knew what our prayers did for the nation. I've
Yeah.
heard this stuff before.
But it's weird because their religious texts that we're looking at right now say that if you study Torah, you need to have an occupation.
It's not only
And it's-
Pirkei Avot. Rambam said the same thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You need
They
to
think-
contribute
they
to
choose.
society. And anyway, sheyigi'at shnehem, yigi'ah is the effort. The effort of them both causes guilt to be forgotten. Because studying Torah puts sin out of your mind, and also working with your hands and producing helps you to forget the bad things that otherwise would conquer your brain, right? I think it was Colton who said, idle hands are the devil's workshop.
Colton
the
said
message.
that, or Benjamin Franklin, whoever came
I'm,
first.
I'm definitely quoting Colton.
Yes.
This is Wait, no, that was an idle mind. Maybe Colton is the first one to say idle hands.
Same idea.
Anyway, but that's a common expression in English, and it's absolutely the meaning of this Mishnah. That working is something you should do, and this continues the same idea. Colton, if you want to tackle this one, B'chol Torah.
Sure. וכל תורה שאין עמה מלאכה סופה בטלה וגוררת עוון.
Goreret, grar is a tow truck. Grar, it's pulling.
Okay.
There's a common expression, I believe it's also in Pirkei Avot, it says mitzvah goreret mitzvah. If you perform a mitzvah, a commandment, it's going to pull you into performing others. One command pulls another command. It pulls it, it drags it. So we have something else going on here. What is this?
Yeah. I assume it's like it brings sin with it, right? So for all Torah which does not have with it work,
Mhm.
its end Betela.
Batel, it could be negated, canceled. Like in the end, it's annulled. Like the
Okay.
study that you did is worthless in the end.
Okay. Its end is annulled and it brings sin
Iniquity.
behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, it brings with it iniquity. So that's saying the exact same thing. That if you study Torah and you don't have an occupation, you don't work. There's no work with it. In the end, that Torah study is useless, and it attracts iniquity. I wish this was something that people would read today in Israel and in the government, in the Knesset. But anyway, next. We have a lot of criticism of the Israeli government, but we support Israel as an entity and have the right to exist, and it's my home. Anyway, the next section, Jonathan Beck.
V'chol ha'osekim im hatzibur.
Is that what it says, Oskim, in the book? It says Oskim?
Ha'osekim.
This is Ha'amelim.
Okay, I need to send you the other critical edition of Pirkei
Okay, this
Avot.
says V'chol ha'oskim im hatzibur. Oskim, Amelim, it means working. They're synonyms.
Okay, so
Anyone who works with hatzibur.
Yeah, I'm reading from the book and not the screen, I confess. V'chol ha'osekim im hatzibur. Yehu osekim again? Amelim again. Osekim imahem l'shem shamayim. So everyone who works with Hatzibur, which I don't know what that is.
Generally, it's the public, but in this case, it means like the religious community, the people in public.
Oh, or a community, says the book. That's a good one. So everyone who works with the public will be working with...
Let him be. This is Joseph. Let him be.
Let them be working with themselves as a name under...
For the name. Let them work with them for the sake of heaven. The Shem Shamayim.
Okay, for the sake of heaven.
Everyone who labors, who travails with the public. Everyone who engages with the public. Lasot is to engage. But they both mean to work.
Anyone who's worked with the public knows that if you're with the public, you are in fact travailing. You are laboring.
Yeah. So this Amelim is from the book of Kohelet, Ecclesiastes. It has travail, blah blah blah, which John remembers, I'm sure, because we went over it. Shezchut avotam mesayatam v'tzidkatam omeret la'ad. So it says, let them labor with them for the sake of heaven, because the merit of their fathers. Zchut avotam is the concept of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were so righteous that their righteousness and their merit remains with the people of Israel. So it says, because the merit of their fathers assists them, it helps them. Messiah is to assist. So this is why we say B'siyata dishmaya, basad, that people write on the top of a paper. They write on the top of a paper this thing, basad. It's Aramaic, B'siyata dishmaya. It means with the help of heaven. It means the same thing as Be'ezrat Hashem. Be'ezrat Hashem, with the help of God. So in Aramaic, B'siyata dishmaya, with the help of heaven, is related to this word Messiah. Messiah. It's a PL verb with the root sin or samech ein, samech yod ein, siyah, Messiah, assisting, helping. So zechut is feminine, and so it's misayat, misayitam. It assists them. The merit of their fathers gives them assistance. But tzidkatam, if we're saying the merit of the fathers, this is the righteousness of the fathers. Okay, their righteousness, tzidkatam, omedet laad, stands forever. Their righteousness stands forever. Okay, makes sense? Next. Did I steal the direction here? Jonathan, did you read?
No, I read and then you read. It's John's
Okay.
turn.
So now
finish, I
John.
think.
You got a difficult line.
Sorry about that. Va'atem ma'ala ani alechem sachar harbe ki'ilo asisem. All right.
Ke'ilu.
What did I say? Ki'ilu. Got it.
This is, let's say God says.
All right. So, and God says, and as for you, from ma'ela. Oh, something to do with with raising or ascending.
Yeah, ma'ale ani.
Okay.
I lift up upon you. Ma'ale ani alechem.
I lift up upon you a great reward, like those who do something, like those that do.
Ke'ilu means as if
they did something.
And the tem is you. Atem asitem.
As
if you had done it.
Oh, I see. So the righteousness of the fathers and their merit, I will heap that upon you as if it was done by you.
Yep. So I will raise upon you a great reward as if you had done it yourselves. That God transfers the merit and righteousness of the fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, upon the people themselves. That's kind of a nice idea. So even when you fall short, whenever you're weighing and calculating the merit and the loss of performance of a mitzvah, or even of transgression, God does try to bend the scales in one way in your favor, right?
Yeah. Where I'm from, we just say God's for you.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. That really is as far as we're going to go in Pirkei Avot. I know that for most people in our group, this is something that you'd never read before or spent any time with. So I hope that you've enjoyed at least this little introduction to Rabbinic or Mishnaic Hebrew, and that with that you're going to be ready to jump into the Torah reading for next week. I guess I'll give you a quick introduction of what we're going to be doing exactly. I've got the PowerPoint together, so I'll show it to you. This is going to be the PowerPoint for next week. Parashat Bereshit. It's the section on Bereshit, the beginning of Genesis. Aliyah Revi'it. It's the fourth Aliyah, and it's Genesis chapters 3:22 to 4:18. So this is all of this passage as it would appear in a Torah scroll. My hope is that in this course of reading, you'll become more comfortable with viewing text as it would be in the Torah. So at the top of this is the verse as it is pointed and with ta'amim, and at the bottom is how the text looks basically in the Torah scroll. So we're going to read through the Hebrew. Vayomer Adonai Elohim, hen ha'adam haya ke'echad mimenu ladat tov v'ra, v'ata pen yishlach yado v'lakach gam me'etz ha'chayim v'achal v'chay le'olam. And I will remove the Hebrew with the pointing, and we will try in our group to read it without the vowels, which is what you would be doing. So this is going to serve somewhat as a tikkun korim. If you get stuck on a word, we can pull the vowels back up and then close them off, and then go back and forth with the idea that I would like you to do your best to try to learn to read Hebrew from the Torah without points. That's kind of our direction, I think. I hope you share the ambition.
It'll be good.
Okay. See you all next week. Looking forward to it.
All right, John, I'll see you on Thursday, no?
Yes, you will.
All right, see you then.
Take care.
Bye, guys. We'll see you, whoever's coming to the next session. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.